There's really a sense that the United States has reached a tipping point after protests over the death of George Floyd spread nationwide this weekend. The Washington Post writes that the nation is at a precipice, while the New York Times headlines, "Twin crises and surging anger convulse the U.S." The paper writes that there are, quote, "parallel plagues ravaging America, the coronavirus and police killings of Black men and women." For many editorialists and cartoonists, the US President Donald Trump is the one fanning the flames of these crises. The Australian David Rowe depicts him as the Roman Emperor Nero looking out at his burning empire. He's thinking to himself, "It's a miracle. I told them the virus would disappear when it warmed up." Brian Adcock of The Independent, meanwhile, recreates the scene that led to George Floyd's death. We see Donald Trump kneeling on the neck of American democracy. Uncle Sam there is saying, "I can't breathe." Many cartoonists are using that theme of suffocation. This one from Pan-Arab paper Al Arabi Al Jadid shows the gloved hand of a police officer strangling the Statue of Liberty. The caption here reads, "America is suffocating." Papers in Israel are drawing a comparison between the killing of George Floyd and the killing of Ayad Halak, an unarmed and autistic Palestinian man who was shot on Saturday by Israeli border police. Haaretz opinion writer Gideon Levy writes, "In the US, they shoot Black people whose blood is cheap, and in Israel, they shoot Palestinians whose blood is even cheaper." Not all Israeli papers support this comparison, though. An editor for the right-wing Israel Hayom writes that the shooting in Jerusalem did not take place on racial background, but in the context of nationalist conflict. This writer is worried that what he calls the blackwashing of Palestinian terror could be used to justify attacks on Israelis. And finally, if you were watching the SpaceX launch this weekend, you might have noticed an extra sparkly pink and blue passenger riding alongside astronauts. That sequined dinosaur is Tremor the Apatosaurus. The two astronauts said the toy was chosen by their sons to make the journey into space, an escape many of us here on Earth wish we had right about now.